A new wave of tactics games is on the horizon, and there is something for everybody to look forward to. From hidden gems to big releases and everything in between, let me know in the comments which turn-based tactics games you're looking forward to the most, and let's dive right in. Whether you love or hate deck builders and card mechanics, Slay the Spire played a big part in that trend. The sequel promises more of the same, but with a bigger scope, because why change what worked? Built from the ground up with a new engine, Slay the Spire 2 will bring increased mod support, new archetypes, characters, and updated visuals, as well as a constantly changing Spire and new ways to play that have yet to be announced. This much anticipated sequel launches into Steam Early Access in 2025, with a possible console release coming later. Heroes of Might and Magic is a classic turn-based strategy series, and the newest release, Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era, looks to bring it back to glory. PvP and multiplayer are a big focus here, with a classic game mode plus arena or one hero modes to keep it interesting. Single player is not forgotten either though, with a full non-linear campaign and the promise of limitless randomly generated scenarios to play, plus a map editor and creation tool that can be used for solo gamers or multiplayer. Also, 6 unique factions with their own units and special abilities will be available at the beginning of the early access launch in Q2 2025. Olden Era really checks all the boxes on paper, my only concern being its connection to Ubisoft. Fernageddon is a pyromaniac's dream. Set the world on fire as you control and expand your warband from humble beginnings as a champion of the fire god. Fully 3D, first-person world exploration combines with a deep turn-based tactics system that feels a bit like Battle Brothers, and you'll be tested as you fight against everything from militia and raiders to monstrous dragons and demons. Pillage and recruit an army of followers with a wide variety of skills and professions to unlock and choose from, all while keeping the fire god entertained. Fail to impress your master and risk receiving his wrath. Fernageddon releases later this month on November 29th and has a demo on Steam you can try now. After all, who doesn't like to play the villain every once in a while? Sunderfolk looks to be a couch co-op, turn-based tactics game that uses your phone as a controller. Inspired by and aiming to give that social tabletop game type of feeling, Sunderfolk supports up to 4 players, connecting through QR codes and a free phone app with everything you need to pick up and play, including your cards, rulebook, and instructions so friends and family can hop right in. Defend and upgrade your home village of Arden from the corruption outside as one of 6 different classes, each with their own playstyle and skills. During turn-based tactics combat encounters, players have no set order, so strategy and choices are really up to the group. I'm looking forward to see how this one works as a sort of digital board game thing. Sunderfolk releases on PC, console, and Switch in 2025. Warside is a pixel art turn-based tactics game with a focus on classic military domination of land, sea, and air. If you're familiar with Advance Wars and its many clones, you kinda get the gist of it. Warside is surprisingly feature-packed though, with 12 playable commanders, over 25 different unit types, a full 30-mission single-player campaign, plus local and online cross-platform multiplayer. Throw in a map editor and mission creator for good measure. You shouldn't have to wait long for this one, as Warside is scheduled to release at the end of January 2025. If you just can't wait to master the battlefield though, there is a demo available now. Another pixel art game, DeathTower is a cyberpunk-themed isometric turn-based tactics adventure. Explore a mysterious tower floor by floor using nanomachines, hacking, stealth infiltration, and a variety of weapons. Structured as a roguelike, each floor will have its own puzzles, enemies, and things to discover as you progress through multiple unique biomes with their own challenges, bosses, and mini-bosses. 6 playable characters and 10 classes are promised for now, with the hope of even more being added later on. DeathTower is releasing on PC first and has a demo available that you can try on Steam today. Moving from cyberpunk to steampunk, Dead Weight is a pixel art game that will see you exploring floating islands and your flying pirate ship. Uncharted skies, ancient ruins, and endgame crises await you in this dark fantasy steampunk world. Turn-based battles will be fought against ancient gods and creatures that have awakened on tiny battlefields similar to Into the Breach that require you to constantly be thinking a step ahead. There is nowhere to run. Pick a ship, hire your trusted crew, and build out your character however you choose, with full multi-classing available across an extensive skill tree with 15 classes to pick from. Dead Weight is a great mashup of some turn-based classics and a very unique world, set to release early 2025. Mecha Simultactics is an isometric PvP turn-based tactics game focused on quick turns and visually appealing battles. Simultaneous turns means each player picks an action and then they play out at the same time, determining which actions are available for the next turn based on the outcome. Currently supporting up to 8 players, Mecha Simultactics has a free-for-all mode as well as team battles alongside customizable mechs, a custom map editor, monitor, and real-time anime-style battle replays that are really cool to watch. There is no single-player mode at this time, but the dev hasn't ruled out adding it sometime way down the road. Mecha Simultactics also has a free alpha available to play on Steam now. Sparta 2035 is kind of like a Jagged Alliance XCOM and classic action movie mashup. You control a team of mercenaries fighting against a terrorist occupation in Africa across bright and colorful slums, business districts, and natural landscapes. There's a big focus on realism here. Cover and flanking matter, as realistic ballistics, health, and armor mean any attack can be deadly. Cover is also mostly destructible, with some environmental flair and objects that explode or can be destroyed as well. There's even a base of operations to build, upgrade, and improve, and a contract system to acquire weapons and consumables. As far as characters go, you'll have 10 unique veteran soldiers and a meat grinder of endless recruits. Sparta 2035 has a ton of potential, definitely one to keep an eye on, and there's a demo on Steam that you can play now. Hidden Pass is a classic turn-based tactics arena-style game with a fantasy theme and some interesting twists. You'll build your team of skyfaring heroes and explore floating islands in the pursuit of the magical element Illyrium, using your customizable flying fortress to secure resources, replenish troops, and push deeper into the Illyrium belt. You're not alone though. All kinds of hostile creatures and constructs want those same things, and you'll need to fight them off using a mixture of technology and magic. Multi-layered maps and a variety of land and air units make for deep turn-based tactical combat, with the power of the Illyrium being a double-edged sword that can help you, but also drives your troops slowly insane. Hidden Pass has a demo available now, as well as Hidden Pass Skirmishes, a free handful of combat scenarios if you just want to check that part out. Dimensionals feels like a throwback to the Saturday morning cartoons of the 90s, from the art style to the comic book cutscenes, voice acting, and even the trailer. Hand-animated cartoon attacks and a soundtrack by the composer of Gravity Falls really ties the whole feeling together. Collect over 20 heroes to level up, with hundreds of unique skills and combos that can be moved between them for huge build variety. Structured as a roguelike, you'll defend different dimensions from a massive assault on the multiverse, with every chapter being a journey through a fractured world with deep lore and heroes to recruit. Procedurally generated encounters keep things fresh, with massive bosses to challenge and take down, as well as a roguelike replayable challenge mode called the Master Raid. We don't have to wait long for this nostalgia hit. Dimensionals is set to release into Steam Early Access on November 18th. If you're looking to put on a show, Infinity Hexadome Tactics is the game for you. Win the crowd over in turn-based tactics hero battles based on the Aristia board game and Infinity universe. The show is just as important as the combat. Hype the crowd, win sponsorships, and score extra points with moving zones and goalposts, while commanding a team from a crazy pool of heroes, including human-animal hybrids, gunslingers, and synthetic samurais. PvP is the main focus here, but you can play against AI as well, and a single-player campaign is said to be coming eventually. Hexadome Tactics is looking like a nice take on the hero arena genre, and I'm interested to see how it plays out. Plague Lords is an unforgiving turn-based tactics RPG set in the mid-14th century as the Black Death is at its peak and ravaging the country. Upon discovering a new, more sinister infection, you'll have the job of exploring the sandbox open world and building up your camp into a full-on city, with walls, traps, defenses, and even guard patrols. Plague Lords also has a full day-night cycle, and characters need to eat, drink, and sometimes sleep to maintain morale and strength. Soldiers and leaders are trained through battle, but permadeath will be a looming consequence for taking too many injuries. Not only will you be managing your armies, but also your craftsmen and builders, along with your town's defenses and development. Plague Lords honestly sounds like brutal fun, and currently has a 2024 release window, but no official date. Shift and Slay is a brutal cyberpunk-themed game where you play as a law executioner fighting for order in a dystopian city full of violence. After all, what fights violence better than more violence? Shift and Slay uses grid-style turn-based tactics combat with roguelike generated levels and progression, and a push to keep you moving. Each enemy you take out refreshes your abilities, allowing you to strategically clear rooms and areas in as little turns as possible. However, each refresh also activates a timer during which you must select your next move, and if one executioner falls, another is always ready to take their place. Shift and Slay has a demo available on Steam that you can play now. Valiant Tactics is a turn-based game on a classic hex grid that focuses on ability management and cooldowns. As a loyal knight, you must assemble a party and avenge your king by taking down his usurper. Doing away with hit chance RNG, every attack from you and your enemies will hit, requiring you to outmaneuver and think ahead of your foes. That's not all though. Diverse enemy types with unique abilities and terrain or weather effects like rain and snow will also change the battlefield. Valiant Tactics has a roguelike structure, including an endless mode with leaderboards, so no two runs are the same. Instead, inventory management, gear, and recruiting are crucial, in addition to a talents and mastery system across 6 classes. There looks to be a lot more depth here than meets the eye, and the demo available on Steam promises to demonstrate all of it. And if you missed it, click the video on screen now to hear about 17 more upcoming tactics games that you should know about.